Welcome to Chapter 29 of The Good Earth. As always, I will begin with a brief synopsis of the chapter, followed by some key points to pay attention to, and then finish off with some big ideas that the author is looking at, as well as asking some questions that I think are important to consider as you read the chapter. In Chapter 29, Wang Lung begins preparing to move into the old house of Huang, but he is in his heart, he really doesn't want to go there. His sons want to live in town, and Wang Lung has them move themselves and their furniture into town. He also buys new furniture and is happy to spend money so that they can live in style. For himself, however, he doesn't move in immediately. Instead, he finds excuses. Finally, he agrees to move in after he has arranged marriages for all of his sons, and in the meantime, he has them prepare a court for him in the house of Huang, and he spends his time going back and forth between houses. In this chapter, Wang Lung changes his business model from farming to landlord. Rather than directly farming the land himself, he begins renting the land out to sharecroppers. He collects half their harvest as rent, and they work the land and keep the other half for themselves. This requires less work on his part and gives Wang Lung much more free time. During this time, Ching, who is now very old, overexerts himself while showing a farmhand how to properly use the tools. Wang Lung beats the farmhand, but Ching dies. Wang Lung wants to bury Ching with the family, but his sons oppose the plan, and instead Ching is buried at the entrance to the family tomb. Notice the changes in Wang Lung's business model. He has gone from country bumpkin and peasant farmer to wealthy farmer to real estate mogul in one lifetime. The change in business goes hand in hand with this change in lifestyle. In this chapter, Cuckoo makes a direct comparison between Wang Lung and the old lord of the House of Huang, and it pleases Wang Lung. Here the circle is complete. Also, notice the importance that Wang Lung now gives to simply having peace in his life. The first struggles that he had in his life were literal struggles of life and death against Mother Nature and starvation. Now the struggle that he faces is the struggle for peace in his own home. Finally, pay attention to the death of Ching and to the attitudes of Wang Lung's children. Why do you think that they have these attitudes? Why do they disagree with Wang Lung? One idea that the author touches on in this chapter is how we define success. Wang Lung has had a persistent goal of improving his social standing. At first, it was with an eye to keeping his family from starvation, but even then, he did it in comparison to his neighbors. Recall when Olan said to the men who broke into their house that they had no right to take their furniture because they were all starving equally at that point? Throughout the story, success has been defined as relative to the success of his neighbors. The other big idea here is family. What makes family? Why is family important? Ching is not family, but we get the sense that Wang Lung cares more about Ching than he does about some members of his family. He certainly cares more about Ching than he does about his second daughter, whom he sent away and whom we haven't heard from again, or about his daughter-in-law, except that she can give him grandsons. Yet Ching doesn't marry burial with the family. So, what is family to you? And why is family important?